What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I'm your host, your bastard of ceremonies, Reckless Rexx Ruger. I got a great guest, and he's here now, so let's get down to it and chop it up. No formalities. We're getting right into it. Fucking excited and amped and pumped, and Chesky's here in the house. And how often does he get to say that he gets to meet Diamond David Lee Roth Jr.?
Yeah,
Gotta be a big moment. Gotta be a big moment for you, Chesky.
It is. It is.
Listen, man, I'm glad to have you on here. All kidding aside, man. Huh?
Stop suggesting on the go. I don't know. I never use this. Yes, stop. Okay, cool. That worked?
Well, yeah, glad to have you on here, man. I can see you and hear you great, man, and really digging the co-defendant stuff, man. And I got to give another shout out to from Skin Lab, Steve Esquivel, who has gone so far as to get the fucking tattoo.
Oh, yeah, that's the homie. What else, Steve?
That's a hardcore fan right there, man. That's somebody who digs what you like, man. Right out of the gate and already showing his support with the tattoo.
Oh, man. Yeah, he goes hard. Love that
so,
dude.
I want to go back to the beginning, man, real quick, Chesky, and find out, like, for you, when you got on this musical journey of deciding you were going to do this, man, was there, like, a specific album or an artist or a song that really kind of jump-started it for you?
Like when I was, like, a little kid? Or
Yeah.
Man. Woo. Well, when it comes to rap, the first rap that ever caught my attention was the Fat Boys.
Yeah.
Because I was a little ass fat kid and little and I saw the Fat Boys on. I didn't have MTV or anything. I was dog sitting for a neighbor, and I saw the video that they had with the Beach Boys.
Oh, dude, that's yeah, right. When they did the cover of yeah, and that great beatboxing in there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was Wipeout, right?
Yeah, they did a Kokomo or something. I don't know, man. But yeah, I was 5 years old. Five.
and no MTV growing up, huh?
Not till I was maybe in my teens.
Yeah, I didn't have it either, man. My parents were, I don't know, call it cheap, call it whatever, man. But I don't remember a lot of cable television. Yeah.
Maybe
And
my grandparents had it though, and when I would visit them, and yeah, this was a neighbor. So that's when I first saw rap. I liked it, and then I moved to that was back in I lived in Atlanta at that time, and Decatur, Georgia, to be specific. Then I moved to the Bay Area. And then hip hop was all around me.
Yeah.
And I got into like MC Hammer, Fresh Prince,
yeah,
FD, Digital Underground. And I was a little kid. That's that kind of stuff. Then the rock shit, like my cousin's 10 years older than me, and he's been a punk and thrash metal drummer.
Yeah.
Since he was like, 15 years old. He's actually currently the drummer of Cro-Mags.
Oh man, I mean, come on, man. I'm an upstate New York guy, man. I mean, the Cro-Mags are like some New York hardcore royalty.
Yeah. So my whole family, my older cousins, were in that way before I could even remember. So eventually I was checking out what my big cousin Opus was doing. So that got me into punk or metal, most likely, and also just growing up in Berkeley, I got into the punk from around there too. I went to Gilman Street when I was 13, and moved out to the East Coast, but was going back and forth every summer and would do holidays back west. So yeah, I had all of that added up. Even like, man, I could talk about grunge and that all 90s rock being a big influence on me as well.
No doubt, me too. Yeah.
It's hard to say where it starts, but I know the first stuff I ever really got into on my own was like Michael Jackson and old school hip hop.
Yeah. And so I got to ask, man, your cousin drumming for which faction? Because now,
the Harley, Hugh Jones for Harley.
Okay, yeah, because obviously John Joseph's got his JJ.
I love John Joseph, man.
I love him. Yeah,
he's his book, Evolution of Cro-Magnon, is shit.
Has really opened my eyes to a lot of shit. That and his PMA effect book, yeah, like just that whole positive mental attitude. And he's really a guy that's living, and he seems like he's really found like a great way to keep himself centered. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
got a lot of.
I met him.
I've
met him before. I played with him. He had a group called Blood Clot for a while. And I was in a band called Dead by Wednesday with my cousin. Eventually, in the mid 2000s, we started that band and we toured pretty heavily. So that was actually my first major touring experience.
And now, who else was in Dead by Wednesday?
A lot of people in Dead by Wednesday. A lot.
Was Mark Rizzo in Dead by Wednesday?
He was.
I'm having him on. I'm having him on later today.
Yeah, he was for a little bit. He's on the recordings. I know Mark. Yeah.
Good dude.
Later today?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, he's gonna be on about. I'm supposed to have him on at 6 o'clock Eastern time. I've been chatting with him like all day. Yeah, he's scheduled for later on, and I've only seen him play once when he was with Soulfly, but you know, he's no longer kind of doing anything like with the Cavaliers anymore. So
yeah, I heard about that. But he's an amazing guitarist.
Amazing, yeah, amazing.
And I've seen him a bunch of times, but yeah, we did some recording with him too.
And so, I'm interested in you know, obviously you've done a lot of stuff in hip hop, but what's really been going on and popping for you lately is the Codefendant stuff. And I'm curious to know, when you guys got together and you put this album together, and it's amazing, by the way, man. I love all the angles that you guys are attacking from. It really makes me think of, I don't know what it makes me think of, because there's not a lot of bands that seamlessly fuse that much, you know, that have attacking music from that many different angles. Fusing so many different genres into there. But when you get together with a creative force like Sam and Fat Mike, what's the creative process like? Is someone coming in with the lion's share of the ideas? Are you guys all just sitting together and kind of just collaborating?
Yeah, some of it's fully collaborative. Sometimes Sam will make a beat and then I start writing lyrics to that. And what I mean by beat, he makes ideas on like an MPC.
Right.
Then it's about developing basic ideas, or I'll bring a guitar idea or a different kind of idea, and Mike comes in, and I mean, and also there's songs where Mike does all the music, wrote all the music, and like Defcons, Mike did all the music and arrangement for that.
Yep.
But a song like Sell Me Youth, for instance, which is that one was an old acoustic demo I had that we ended up recording in 4 different styles, and we ended up going with more like a synth punk kind of style, but we did that 4 different separate times. And there's like a reggae style of it, there's a straight garage kind of style of it, there's a ska core version that's kind of like Voodoo Glow Skull. Mike was like, fuck no, we're not gonna do that. So it's about trying a bunch of stuff and developing the songs. There'll be a song like Prison Camp where Mike took my initial ideas for guitar and singing and developed it a lot, added sections and chords, and really produces the music. He does the final production of everything. Yeah. But a lot of it starts from our demoing or his demoing, whatever. Yeah, I've never really worked like this before. It's super collaborative. And it's something like Suicide by Pigs, the song Sam and I did so collaboratively, in fact, that he might have been playing the first 4 chords of it, and then I started developing the rest of the music for it. And then we actually wrote all of the lyrics together as well. So for instance, he sings the first line, but the original first line was, I've considered suicide by police, would try it myself, but I'm far too lazy. I had written that line.
Yeah, that's a good line.
He changed that line and sang it, and he changed it to angry. And I'm far too angry. And you know, and we both sang the whole song, and then later on Mike picked which parts would be Sam's, which parts would be mine. Right. It's like both of us together. Another song like Defcons, Sam, the rap that I'm doing on Defcons, Sam wrote the whole beginning part. I wrote the end part, but it's like it's a rap of his that we were doing it all together. Like we recorded it all over on top of each other, like our vocals on top of each other. Yet Mike chose sections. That would be me, and chose sections. That would be him.
Right. And I had Sam on, and I'm curious to know when you guys all get together and you sit around, like what's the, you know, when this project is in the embryonic stages, what are you guys sitting around and kind of spitballing around? Like, you know, were there any examples of stuff like where you said, hey, let's try something in the vein of, because I can't think of anything else that really parallels like what you guys are doing. You know, was there any like examples of like, hey, let's try something? Yeah. It doesn't sound like anything that's been done before.
Yeah, I mean, something that's standing out is not out yet. We were listening to like some Tropicalia music from Brazil, like this band called Os Mutantes, from the late '60s, and we're like, we'd like to make something like this, like Latin garage psych with a punk twist. You know, there are times when we are trying to do that, but most of the time we just bring like a riff to the table and just try different techniques on production. Like as I was saying with Sell Me Youth, that's a good example. Like try an acoustic kind of reggae hinged version, or a ska core version with super heavy breakdowns, or what ended up happening was like a synth punk thing, and that was specifically influenced by screamers. So yeah, well, there are some times when we do want to mimic things that we love, but often that's kind of happened naturally.
And going forward, it's been all over the internet, obviously, that Fat Mike is more or less retiring NOFX. You know, obviously never say never. We don't know that they won't return anywhere down the line.
Super
Super done.
done.
Okay. So you're here to
just
clarify.
Played his last show with them last weekend? Weekend before last, and it was incredible. But yeah, he's very, very much done. He'll never play with them again.
Okay, so what will his role in this project be going forward, though? Is he kind of involved because of the name, just to kind of jumpstart it, or
no? He's like a main producer, songwriter, studio bass player, and multi-instrumentalist on there.
Okay.
He's very involved. He sings on some of the new songs.
Okay.
But he's gonna always be like a studio cat, I think. I don't really think he really doesn't like going on the road or playing shows. He's really, if you've seen him, he's a natural. You know, he's a very charismatic entertainer and
very
great at what he does. But I think a lot of it was that it was getting really unhealthy for him. He can't even rock a show. He rocked like one show in the last 2 years sober.
Yeah.
And that was his worst show. He said.
Yeah. And he's paid his dues. I mean, come on, man. The guy has entertained us and given us a lot of fucking great music and a lot of great years, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Out on the road, I'm saying.
And the way he went out, there's hard.
Yeah.
No one's ever gone out like that.
Right.
He went out. He even did the last ever NOFX song he put out. He did it that one day. He wrote it. In fact, he kind of took one of my ideas and wrote the final NOFX song with that, like fleshed it out, developed it, and only performed it that one time. I can't think of any band that's ever done that.
Yeah.
Like,
obviously, much to the chagrin of the fans, because the fans really don't want NOFX to go away.
No, of course not.
You know, there's been pushback, obviously, like where fans are obviously very upset about this. You know what I mean? But
I get it, though. I get his position. Really well. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of drama in that camp, especially between some of the band members, and it's uncomfortable, man. It's like not, you know, they've been together like 41 years, you know? So it's not, if you read that Spin article that just came out, you'll understand a lot of that. Some of it was pretty fucking hard to read.
Yeah.
But, what I was gonna say was, I really see why he did it the way he did, because he didn't want to be the super old, decrepit dude on stage, kind of sitting around, barely being able to rock. When they finished that show, they were at their peak. Like they're literally playing the best they ever played. It's not like the Rolling Stones who were fucking dying on stage, which respect to them for that. But I don't know. Do we really need to see them in that state? I know that for a fact Mike doesn't want to be that.
No, we definitely don't. I was having this conversation with a guest the other day, man, and like there is like an art to, you know, not just coming to a party, but knowing when you've stayed too long and when it's time to go, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we are seeing a lot of rock. We are seeing a lot of rock stars, throwback guys from the '80s who maybe at one time had legendary status, but they've maybe starting to kind of they maybe starting to backslide a little bit and stay a little too long, you know.
A little bit in some cases.
Yeah.
Too much. And honestly, it's time to make space for other people. And in some cases, I truly believe that.
And it does
every time one of those
pace.
And fucking super old legacy bands is touring, you're really taking space from bands that could be growing and playing those venues. Yeah.
And a lot of it does feel like a cash grab too. You know what I mean? Like you're going out there,
most of
you're obviously beefing up your sound, and there's a lot made on the internet about, you know, using backing tracks and these tricks and these smoke and mirror type things to kind of like
everyone. That's every big rock show. That's not just. That's every big. I mean, yeah, I've seen it all, and you know, with Codefendants, we have to, because a lot of our shit is electronic, so that's a big part of what we do. But it's also, that's just standard now, you know.
Yeah.
But what I was also gonna say was Mike's very aware of that. He's also aware that when he was playing his last show on stage, dude, it was like this who's who of punk rock millionaires standing on the stage.
Yeah.
And I think I don't really like speaking for him, but I really think he believes a lot of people forgot the reasons why they got into shit.
Yeah, you know? I agree.
If you're able to watch that last performance, he made it really clear. A lot of it was loving, but very mocking and very critical of that.
Yeah.
And that's how I read it.
Yeah.
You know, as someone who knows him pretty well at this point. So, yeah, I thought it was fucking amazing. I'm really proud of him for doing it the way he did.
So going forward,
but a lot of people are upset about that.
Yeah. So going forward, when you guys do tour or do live shows, who will you guys put around you then to kind of support you and Sam?
We've been touring with our friends Zeta, and they're a band from Venezuela. They're like a psych kind of stoner psych progressive band, but like they do all types of genres, but it's like heavy progressive music. Like they toured with High on Fire. They're touring with touring a lot with like Fall of Troy, like that kind of scene. But that's who we'll probably be playing with most of the time as our backing band. And then sometimes, like in December, we play with Sam's band Get Dead as our backing band.
Okay.
You know, and that's gonna be a more like punk driven kind of version of the band when we have them. That's who backs us. As of now, that's who it's going to be. It's either one of those bands. So,
and now in 2008, and obviously there's been seismic, huge changes in the music industry. But in 2008, you and your brother David started Fake Four, an indie label. Which maybe you can elaborate on this. How tough is it right now in today's music industry? To be an owner of a label. What's the journey like for you?
It was ridiculous then.
Yeah,
it was like a ridiculous idea back then.
Yeah,
and that was like the industry had completely crumbled. Like at that time, in fact, that was a time when indies were really dying out because majors, were what? Oh shit! Do you see me? You still?
I can see you. Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay, the app's doing some shit. Well, majors were kind of mimicking the whole indie aesthetic, and they were kind of selling these artists and using our same techniques to develop kind of viral artists. And they have $1 million behind it,
right?
Instead of DIY. And it was really working. I remember that was around the time when like Lana Del Rey and A$AP Rocky, and a lot of these people in Odd Future were coming up, and a lot of it was with major money behind it, yet it had all the aesthetics of DIY music. And what was happening was just everything was going digital. CD sales they were still happening, but they were going away. Vinyl was sort of starting to catch back up in a way. Now vinyl is our biggest seller, which is funny.
Yeah.
Like we sell so much vinyl that it's actually almost detrimental to our digital, which I think is great for customers. Because Mike is real old school in that way. He only cares about the vinyl. Like he went back. I remember we went and we had the album mastered. He's like, "Oh no, this is too loud for vinyl."
Yes.
Went back and turned the shit down because he wasn't thinking about digital at all. But I kind of love that. There's something that feels old school about the way we're doing Codefendants. We really do not give a fuck about what's popular to do with the industry right now.
You kind of have to.
And it's working for sure. But yeah, it was difficult to start a label back then. Now it's a label is, we've built an amazing community of followers and supporters. And that's what it is now. Now, if anything, we put out limited vinyl releases with digital, and we have a community that supports that for the most part. Yeah, it's really small. I've had to even, make it smaller over the years, but that's what keeps it going is being flexible. You know what I mean? It's not like some giant machine where you got to fire 100 people if the ship fails.
And now this is Crime Wave is out now. So how soon will we see new music from Codefendants? Where are you in the process of it?
We're putting out at least, I think we're going to be putting out another 3 10-inches probably. Okay. That's kind of like the last conversation we had, because we have some singles ready to go. We have a whole live in studio session with Seta ready to go. That's like basically a version of our live set. We're gonna be putting stuff out in the meantime because we want to take our time with the next album. So we have some songs. I would say about half of it done, but we're gonna release some of it just as singles on vinyl, and probably not putting it on all of it on the album. So.
Okay. I was also very impressed to read it. Obviously, like, this is public, man. I've been waiting for the last couple of days for UPS to deliver me a simple fucking pillow, and yet you in 2010 get 100-pound weed fucking delivery, man. Salute to you, man. That's my kind of delivery right there, man.
There was no UPS for that. It was some fucking rat who drove across the country. You know what I'm saying?
That's my kind of shipment right there, man. I mean, if you're gonna do something, do it fucking big, for fuck's sake, right?
Yeah, that's funny.
But I find it, a travesty of justice, though, that even in 2010, though, man, that you would actually have to do time for something like that. A shame. Yeah. A shame, and shame on the judicial system, man, for even prosecuting a case like that, man. Because now look where we are. Now look where we are now, man, which was where we probably should have been back then.
We were right around the corner back then, but I knew how. I mean, that case took me 3 years and almost
unbelievable.
3 years.
Yeah,
and the laws were already changing. So, to be clear, it was a setup. This is how it happens. I mean, it was set up with a guy that was driving 100+ pounds across the country, and he was driving. He drove it all to me, but it wasn't all for me. He kind of just threw me under the bus because I was the easiest target.
Sure.
He got arrested somewhere, and he just kind of brought all these undercovers, and they did a whole sting, and yeah, that's how that worked.
And so, all sum total, how much time did you end up serving for that?
I took an 18-month sentence, but I actually ended up, so in the state of Connecticut where I did time, you almost always are going to do half your time because first of all, the prisons are really full.
Yep.
You'll usually do half your time in prison and then half on parole.
Right.
And so I ended up doing even less than that because I got into a program, kind of a, I wouldn't want to call it a rehab, like a halfway house where we had to do NA meetings.
Okay.
Time and so I did less. I did less than half a year in the end. So,
yeah. And you know, because you got the codefendants,
still really stupid.
I absolutely fucking stupid. I know. And now that you're doing
it was after fighting the case for that long, I knew I could probably win the case. The cops did a lot of dirty shit. They always, you know,
yeah,
they always just want the arrest. So it was basically they did a lot of illegal shit during the arrest.
Yep. They're not always the good guys out there, kids. Remember, they're not always the good guys. You know what I mean? They portray themselves to be, but I think we're starting to see a lot more now where, you know, with people doing First Amendment audits and really showing that transparency out there, man. You know what I mean? That there is a lot of corruption and there is a lot of bullshit. And the fact that you would even serve one fucking day and that we would waste taxpayers' money with bullshit like this is just absolutely preposterous. I mean, let's lock up some fucking violent offenders here. I mean, for fuck's sake, there's people out there doing really rotten things. There's people out there doing white-collar corporate crime, you know what I mean? You know who we could target and go after. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, the fact that we waste time and we fill the prison system up with shit like this just gets me angry. Especially, you know, me being an advocate for weed myself. I had some pneumonia back in May. I don't know if you still smoke or not, man, but I had some serious pneumonia problems back in May, which pretty much got me on the edibles right now because I'm scared to ingest any fucking smoke, man. I had a bad bout with it back in May, and it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, one thing yeah, man. You know, I knew how stupid it was, but you know, you're always told, and I talk about this on the CODEFENDANTS album actually.
Yep.
You're always, when you get arrested, and you got to know your rights and demand to speak to an attorney, right? Like demand to speak to an attorney. Yeah. I did that so many times that they ignored it. That's a very common. That's one of the most common ways a cop will break the law. You know, they're supposed to drop everything and allow you to speak to your attorney
immediately they should stop talking to you. Yeah, absolutely.
At least a dozen times till I was blue in the face and they were just kind of laughing at me, and then they made a forced confession. There was a lot of laws broken for them to get the arrest that they wanted, and I could have won that case, but another thing that the judicial thing does, as a very classist system, the judicial system will milk you out of, you know, money. So,
oh yeah, of course.
After I've been in court and had lawyers, you end up, most people who don't have a ton of bread end up taking a plea bargain, like I did after years, and it was a better, you know, at first they were telling me I was looking at 10 years. So when they offer kind of this 7-year suspended, 18 months served thing, it sounded pretty fucking good compared to what, you know, they initially were talking about. And a lot of times if you fight it and you lose, like a lot of friends of mine, I still have friends in prison for weed, for weed. You could do a lot of time. I had friends that did, you know, 5-6 years. This is recent. So
yeah. Pretty sad. Pretty fucking sad. Now, because you got the co-defendants thing cooking and it's in full swing right now, will you do anything else, or is this your main focus? Like, will you still do hip hop? Will you do other projects, or is this the main focus?
This is it. Yeah, I'm completely focused on this right now.
Okay. Okay.
I just wrapped up all my discography of solo music. Just finished it, and people are starting to get the final album. I did a double LP, but I split it up into 2 parts, and now part 2 is just announced and starting to land at people's doors. So,
well,
that's.
Listen. I've already hailed and told so many people, man, that This Is Crime Wave is, in my opinion, man, just such an interesting, artistic endeavor, and just, it's really that breath of fresh air, man, that the music world needs, because you do start to feel like, and doing this podcast has helped me kind of, for a while I was that stodgy old fuck that was just always leaning on my old shit to listen to when it was time to listen to music recreationally. I would fall back on shit that was, familiar to me. So, doing the podcast has helped me reach out to younger artists and stuff and try to expand my horizons a little, man. But it does get tough sometimes. You do feel like I've heard this before. This is not anything new. This is not anything that really gets me charged up, man. What you guys are doing is exciting to me. It's refreshing. It's a really breath of fresh air.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all agree with you. I mean, there isn't. I listen to a lot of music, a lot of new music, but and there's a lot of cool shit out there. But in rock specifically and punk, I mean, there isn't too much. I mean, I don't know. I do feel like we do stand out.
Yeah. Well, a lot of music's gotten derivative. Like, my son's a big hip hop head, but I mean, like, anytime
hip hop is like, dude, this is
anytime he tries to get me in anything that's new hip hop, I'm just like, no, thank you. I'll take my 80s and 90s shit.
It's some of the worst years in hip hop, in my opinion. Everything. But I feel like that's a product of technology as well. Because I mean, when you're having like a streaming economy where Spotify is telling you to churn out music constantly, it's just gonna devalue art, and it's gonna make shittier art. People just want to keep putting stuff out machine like. Yeah. And we want to be exactly the opposite. We don't care if we have less Spotify listens than another new band, because we're not gonna ever play by those rules. We're gonna do whatever the fuck we feel, and that's something important to all three of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there's been only a few bands that have really been able to seamlessly fuse, and I'm not just talking about bands that were doing the rap rock fusion thing for a while, but to even enter even other elements of music in there. There's been a couple of bands. A band like Faith No More made some really interesting music. Angel Dust, the 1992 album was amazing. I think about
I love Mike Patton in general. He's probably one of my biggest influences.
An amazing guy. And then I think about a band like, and I don't know how you'll take these comparisons, but when I think of you guys, I think about a band like Fun Loving Criminals.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I like that single. I've never heard another one of their songs though.
Yeah,
that single's dope. From back in the day. I don't really know what the rest of their music sounded like, but
I think now what they're doing currently actually sounds a little bit more like what you guys do in Codefendants. Maybe their older stuff did not. And then there was a band that I really loved that I maintained a great friendship with. I just had him on here, man. The front man for, I don't know if you remember a band back in the 90s called Urban Dance Squad.
Oh yeah, I do.
They were really known for that one single, Deeper Shade of Soul.
What do you say?
They were really known for their big hit that was on MTV called Deeper Shade of Soul.
Yeah, I remember that band.
But they were a band that, if you really dig deep, man, they were a band that was really fusing like alternative and elements of punk and jazz and soul and hip hop. They were the only band I could think of that had like a full band. Black guys and white guys. They had a live drummer. They had a DJ as well. They had this guy that could sing punk but also rap like an MC. Just a band that really attacked it from a lot of different angles, man. So having somebody come along like you guys is just such a breath of fresh air, man. So as a musician, I thank you for what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I mean, I always say this, but Sam and I especially wanted to make something. It was a nostalgic time because we were deep in pandemic still. I felt like that made us really nostalgic for a lot of reasons, but we could take a breath and think about where we were with our music. And we wanted to make a record that felt nostalgic to us in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's something like I keep saying it's something I wanted to make that I would have loved when I was 16.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so if I can hit you up with one more subjective question here, if I were to drop CESCHI Ramos onto a desert island, what's the one fucking desert island album that you would take with you if you could bring one?
Wow.
That's why I saved this one for last, CESCHI. I know it's a tough one. I guess essentially it's a very harrowing thought because you're gonna die out here with this fucking album. But
Yeah, probably in the airplane over the sea by Neutral Milk Hotel.
oh, do I love that fucking pick,
Yeah.
man. You just made my fucking day. That's one of the best Desert Island fucking answers I've had in fucking quite a long time, man. Nobody ever shouts out Neutral Milk Hotel.
Yeah, that album, you know, it's funny. I listened to it. I remember when I got really obsessed with that whole movement out of Athens, Georgia, the Elephant Six, when I was maybe like 18 years old, something like that. And I started digging into all the records. And that one, funny enough, I had already heard their first album on Avery Island, and so I came in with a little bias because I loved that album. And when I heard Airplane, it didn't strike me until maybe about, I want to say about 20 listens in, but I used to listen to so much music that I would give things a chance like that.
Yeah.
It's not like nowadays where everything's at your fingertips, right? So this is like the late 90s or something. And so one day it just struck me. It struck me so hard that I listened to it every single day for a year.
Yeah, and kudos to you for realizing that it's an album that needs to marinate and you need to hear it more than once, and not just.
And those are the best records. I think, you know, those are the best records.
Yeah,
me.
you really got to
you
got to immerse yourself in them almost.
Moved me so deeply. You know, it's very special. It's a magical album, man.
Yeah, so, it really is. It really is.
Well,
listen, man.
Lyricism ever on, you know, rock centric album ever. So,
yeah. Well, listen, man, I appreciate the time. I see you're there at work, man. You know, I'm sure you got shit to do, man, but I just appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me, man. You know, you're attacking a musical project, man, from just such a cool, interesting angle. I got the pleasure to have Sam on, man. I wanted to run you down and get you on here, man. And I'm a supporter, man. I love what you do, man. I'm flying the flag for you guys. Man. I really am, man.
Thank you. We have some cool shit ahead, man. It's a big year for us next year.
Good. I can't wait, man. So we should expect new music from you when? Early 2025, realistically?
Yeah, realistically, yeah. We'll have at least a single out by then.
Okay. Sounds good, man. I really appreciate it, man. Stay in touch, man. When shit is popping, dude, I'd love to have you guys back on again for sure, man. Yeah, my pleasure, man. Thank you for doing it, my friend. Thank you.
Sure.
Good talking to you, Chesky. Later, man.
Bye-bye.
There he goes, folks. CESCHI Ramos from a band that I am shouting out as much as I fucking can. CODEFENDANTS. Go check out the album. This is Crime Wave. Just a band that is attacking it. As you heard me say, think Fun-Loving Criminals meets Angel Dust era Faith No More, meets my boys Urban Dance Squad, meets just a melting pot of fusion of great stuff. I mean, think punk rock, think alt rock, think elements of hip hop, blues, Latin, just a melting pot of great, interesting shit. Exactly what the fucking music world needs, man. I had Sam King on here already, another member of that band, who's also a member of Get Dead, big band in the hardcore world, man. But as you heard, CESCHI really focusing on CODEFENDANTS. And also, let's not forget the other member of that band, the legendary punk rock icon himself, Fat Mike from NOFX, which is no longer... That's due to the fact that all the boys are concentrating on CODEFENDANTS, a massive project. I will shout out Steve Esquivel from Skin Lab once again for turning me on to these guys, man. And I love what I fucking hear from these guys. Do yourself a fucking favor. Do your musical homework, man. This is a guy that just fucking shouted out Neutral Milk Hotel for his fucking Desert Island pick. So you know this is a guy who's thinking about making interesting fucking music, man, and attacking it from a lot of different angles, infusing a lot of different genres together. And that's what CODEFENDANTS does. And you guys will not be sorry. It is Rexx Ruger approved. You guys will come back and say, holy shit, Rexx, thank you for hipping us to CODEFENDANTS. Go check out This Is Crime Wave. And as you heard, expect new music from the boys early in 2025, man. And thank you so much to CESCHI Ramos, man, for coming on here, man. I really enjoyed talking with him, man. And if you're interested in checking out anything that's on his label, he is also the co-founder of Fake 4, an indie label, man, that he started with his brother David in 2008. I'm sure you can find them on social media and find them all over the Googles. Go search them, man. I'm sure if CESCHI is anything like he is as an artist. I'm sure there are interesting and amazing bands on the Fake 4 label. Of that, I have no fucking doubt. So, but do go check out Co-Defendants. Listen to your boy Rexx Ruger here, man. Check these guys out, man. Give them a chance, man. Immerse yourself in the music, man. Take one hell of an interesting fucking ride with these guys, man. Make sure to like and follow us on Facebook, and make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on this channel for the most interesting conversations anywhere. The only place where the cool kids come to chop it up with your boy, Rexx Ruger, who at the end of this interview is still looking fucking damn good. Pops would be proud, man. And of course, you know how I make it all happen. You want the quaff like Roth? Get you some, kids. You might not look this good, as I always say, but you can look pretty damn fucking good. And as I always say when I end these things, remember to take it easy and keep it sleazy.